Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my Samsung Galaxy A71 review. So let's get started. So this is the Samsung Galaxy A71. I've been very excited to get this device ever since it was announced about 2 months ago. And I've got to say, it has not disappointed me at all. This phone has been really awesome. So the Galaxy A71, at least this variant of the phone, is an international device. So it's going to work with all GSM carriers in the US and around the world. So in the US, it's going to work with AT&T, T-Mobile, Cricket, Metro by T-Mobile, and smaller carriers such as Mint Mobile. Now, I'm not sure if this phone will eventually get an official US variant that's launched that works with all 4 major US carriers. But I do know that if you want to get this phone right now, I will be leaving links in the video description to where you can get it on Amazon and eBay. Typically, eBay is a little bit less expensive than Amazon, but then of course with Amazon, you're getting their industry-leading return policy. So if you have any issues at all, you can easily return the phone. Now, I don't anticipate you having any issues since I've had a great time with it, but just something to keep in mind there. Now, currently, it seems like the price for the A71 is around $399, so kind of that $400 price range. But like I mentioned a second ago, prices change all the time on these various retailers, so definitely take a look at the links in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for the Samsung Galaxy A71. Now, the phone features a really massive display. The device features a 6.7-inch Infinity O display, and the glass on here is Corning Gorilla Glass 3. So you're definitely getting some really high-quality materials with the phone. Now, this is the Prism Black color. You can also get it in a variety of different colors as well. So again, take a look at the link in the video description to see those colors. Now, the device features a Super AMOLED display, so that's better, in my opinion, than LCD because you're getting excellent colors here, as well as really good viewing angles with the phone too. The display resolution is 1080p, we're getting a PPI of 393, and the phone features a 20:9 aspect ratio, so kind of a more narrow but tall form factor. Now, you can see up top here, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and the front-facing camera on the phone is 32 megapixels. It seems like in 2020, this really is the trend to have a hole punch for the front-facing camera. I know there's other devices too that I've covered recently, such as the Umidigi F2 that has the hole punch off to the left side, and I know that the Galaxy Note 10 that was launched last fall, as well as the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S20, both feature the front-facing camera in the top center of the device in that hole punch. So in many ways, the Galaxy A71 almost looks like a mini Galaxy S20. So in fact, some people might even mistake this for being one of Samsung's flagships, and it really looks like Samsung is going for a consistent design throughout all their different devices. Now, I'm personally a big fan of this hole punch compared to other approaches that we've seen from other companies such as Apple. This is the iPhone 11, and you can see the difference here. Look at how thick and large that notch is on the iPhone 11 compared to this tiny hole punch with the Samsung Galaxy A71. But in that hole punch, we are getting a 32 megapixel front-facing camera, which is extremely impressive. And a little bit later into the video, I'll show you some photo and video samples from it. Internally, the Samsung Galaxy A71 features 128 gigabytes of storage with SD card expansion. So if that 128 gigs is not enough for you, you do have the ability to put in a micro SD card. Now, the phone does not feature wireless charging. However, we do get a fingerprint sensor built into the display. I know having an in-screen fingerprint sensor was a big innovation in 2019, and it looks like in 2020, Samsung is continuing this, but they're continuing to also improve the technology, because I know for a fact that this fingerprint sensor in the Galaxy A71 is a lot quicker than the in-screen fingerprint sensor that we have with the Galaxy A70, which is the predecessor to this phone, as well as the Samsung Galaxy A50. So these new A-series phones that are coming out in 2020 that do feature in-screen fingerprint sensors feature an improved version of the technology. Now, on the rear of the device, we have a quad camera setup. So we're getting a 64 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and then a 5 megapixel macro camera for extremely close-up photos. Stay tuned for a little bit later in the video as I'll show you all the various photos I was able to take with the phone. But I will say that if you're wondering why there is no telephoto camera with the Galaxy A71. There is a good reason for that. Since the phone does feature a 64 megapixel main camera, you're actually able to crop in quite a bit without losing any quality. So I know on previous devices where Samsung has implemented a telephoto camera, they typically offer a 2x zoom. But if you just crop in the 64 megapixels at 2x, you're not really losing out on too much quality. Of course, I know nothing beats a dedicated telephoto camera, but being able to crop in the 64 megapixels, even at 2x, retains the majority of the quality. Now the phone does feature portrait mode for both the rear and front cameras, so that's really good. Samsung calls it live focus mode. And in addition to that, we're getting 4K video recording with the front and rear cameras as well. So that's really impressive too. Now the Galaxy A71 comes in multiple variants for the RAM. You can get it with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. So this is the 6 gigabyte variant of the phone. And it features the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 processor. So I was really happy to see when I heard about this device that it features the 730, because that's definitely a step up from the 600 series processor that the Galaxy A70 had. And I did run an Antutu benchmark test, so you can see what the benchmark is for the device. And I got a total score of 264,714. So what I recommend doing is downloading this app, again, it's called Antutu Benchmark, onto your current phone, and then run a benchmark test on there, and then compare those results to these results with the Galaxy A71. And if these scores are better than your current device, then there's definitely a good chance that the Galaxy A71 will be a performance upgrade. Now the device features a very massive 4,500 milliamp hour internal battery, and thankfully the phone is compatible with 25 watt super fast charging, so you do have the ability to quickly recharge that really massive battery. Now the software on here is Android 10 with Samsung's One UI 2.0, so if you're familiar already with Samsung's user interface, then this shouldn't be really too new to you. Of course, with One UI 2.0, Samsung has further evolved their Android overlay to add in even more features. And you'll definitely want to check out my Samsung Galaxy A71 tips and tricks video to see all the things that you can do with Samsung's special software here. One example of what they've added is this edge screen on the side so that you can easily access all of your favorite applications. Another cool feature too is that you're actually able to remap the power button so that if you double press on it, it'll open up some of your favorite applications. So for me, I set it to open up Instagram. So you can see as soon as I double press on that, it does open up Instagram on the phone. So that's super convenient. You can see that I don't even have the app open right now. I'm going to then turn off the display, and then I'm going to double press on that button. I'm going to put in my fingerprint, and it does open up Instagram immediately. So that's a really cool feature. Definitely a big fan of that, and that's one of those things that you can't find typically with stock Android. Now I do like stock Android, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But I've got to say, Samsung did do a nice job with their One UI 2.0, making sure that it's nicely optimized to perform really well with the device. And we're in mid-February right now, and the phone has been updated to the January 1st, 2020 security patch. So I'm not sure if Samsung's going to deploy every single security patch to the Galaxy A71, but I certainly hope so. And if you're wondering if the phone will be getting future versions of Android, such as Android 11, when that eventually comes out at some point this year, I think you should be decently optimistic. I know that Samsung is updating all of their A-series devices that shipped with Android 9 Pie throughout this spring. So for example, the Galaxy A20 came with Android Pie out of the box, and they've pledged that by this May, they will be updating it to Android 10. So if they continue that trend, you should expect to at least get one major newer version of Android with the Galaxy A71. But now that we've talked about the specifications of the device, let's take a closer look at the hardware itself. So taking a look at the left side of the phone, we just have the slot for the microSD card and SIM cards. So this phone is dual SIM compatible, and that's because it is the international variant of the phone. So it is helpful having dual SIM, especially if you do have maybe a work phone and a regular phone, or maybe you live somewhere where you want to take advantage of having connectivity with two different carriers at the same time. There's a variety of different reasons and situations where dual SIM can come in handy. Now taking a look at the right side of the phone, we have the volume button and we have the power button. Then on the top of the device, we just have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the phone, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. We have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer. We have the microphone and we have the speaker. So it is nice to see that we are getting a 3.5mm headphone jack with the Galaxy A71, as it's a feature that I know many of you still value quite a bit. Now the phone does feature a plastic build, so we have a plastic band running around the side, and this material on the back is known as Glastic. That's what Samsung calls it, kind of like a hybrid between glass and plastic. One thing I know for sure though with this material is that it does look really nice. Now it is also a fingerprint magnet. You can see that it has absorbed my various fingerprints, so that's a bit unfortunate, but that is one of the consequences with going with a phone with a reflective back on it. But you can see the device does feature that quad camera setup, of course, with the camera rectangle. So that's a design element that Samsung has implemented on pretty much all of their newer devices, like I mentioned earlier, with the Galaxy Note 10 and then the brand new Galaxy S20. But I do like how it's very minimal on the back of the phone. Since we do have that in-screen fingerprint sensor, we don't have anything on the back related to that. So overall, just a really sharp and good looking phone. And like I mentioned before, since we are getting that 20:9 aspect ratio with the display, it's kind of a narrower but taller display, so it's great for fitting a lot of content in from your various social media feeds, whether that's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. They all look great on this device, but also we're getting a very good screen to body ratio. You can see how small the bezels are all around the phone. It's slightly thicker on the bottom, and it's just a really sharp, good looking device overall. So here's how Instagram looks on the Samsung Galaxy A20. You can see that you're able to fit a lot of content into just one view here. So since the phone does feature that really large and tall display, you can see an entire image as well as the description, and then even another image from another creator, as well as 5 different story icons on the top. So it's an excellent device for taking a look at your various stories. You can easily move from story to story as well. Everything is nice and smooth with no problems at all. So it's certainly a great phone if you are really into using Instagram. And then when you want to record a story, that's really easy as well. You can do that very easily with the Samsung Galaxy A71. Samsung Galaxy A71. Well, you can do that very easily. And the phone features a very good microphone, by the way. So all of your videos are going to sound nice and crisp and clear, which is a great thing. And this is one of the biggest surprises with the Galaxy A20, and I think this is one of the reasons why the device was especially. So this phone is excellent for viewing video content. You can see that I can crop in videos to fill up the entire display, and it really does create a very immersive experience. But in addition to that, colors look really good too. I'll go back to one of the other frames where you can see the colors on the phone in the video itself. So you can see colors look really good. Viewing angles, again, are excellent. So maybe you're on an airplane flight and you want to watch a video on here with somebody else. You're going to be able to view the video a lot more comfortably since you can view it from more angles than you would with an LCD display. The only limitation is that the phone does feature just one speaker here on the side. So if your finger does cover over that, you can hardly hear the video at all. So just make sure that your finger isn't covering the speaker and you should be good to go with that. But videos do max out at 1080p on here since the display itself is 1080p. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Now, if you want to see a detailed look at everything that's included in the box, you might want to check out my Samsung Galaxy A71 hands-on video. But I'll quickly show you a quick tour of what's included. So here's the box itself. You can see A71 right there. So I'll lift the lid, and we actually have a box within a box. So here it is. We get a SIM card removal tool included. But in addition to that, we get some literature here. So quick start guides, warranty card. We also get a clear plastic case included. So kind of a basic case here. So not too protective, but still cool that we do get it included in the box. Another awesome thing about the Galaxy A71 is that there are so many different cases and accessories available from reputable companies all over Amazon and other retailers. So since this is a Samsung device, and case manufacturers know it's going to be very successful. They've all created a variety of different accessories and cases already. So there's going to be no shortage of different options that you can choose from to protect your phone. And then getting a little bit deeper into the box, we do have that 25-watt super fast charger. So the charger itself does feature USB-C instead of a standard USB port, but the whole point of that is that this will allow the phone to charge up even quicker than normal. So that's excellent. We're also getting a double-sided USB-C cable included in the box as well as some 3.5mm headphones. So nice to see that we are getting that really nice premium super fast charger in the box. Definitely a big fan of that, but that's everything that's included in the box with the Galaxy A71. Now phone calls are super clear with the phone, so we'll give that a try right now. Hello? 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 So I've been using Cricket Wireless with the Samsung Galaxy A71. That is a prepaid carrier that's owned by AT&T and uses AT&T's network. And the process of using Cricket with the phone has been very easy. So literally all I had to do was just put my Cricket SIM card into the device and then it immediately was able to work. So that was really simple and easy. In addition to that, the typing experience on the device is really good. So I'm going to type out a text message right now. So there we go. I'm going to send that over. And you can see I quickly received the message here on my iPhone. I'm now going to send one back. And you can see I quickly received that on my Galaxy A71. Now, if you are concerned at all about the really massive display on the device, Samsung does have some features built in that do make the usability a lot easier. So for example, you have to enable this in the settings, but if you double press on the home button, it will shrink down the display so you get almost like a mini phone to use here that you can easily use one-handed. You can also move it over to the right side of the phone so that if you are right-handed, you get really easy usability with it. You can even resize it even more to make it even smaller. You can then easily go back to how things were again by double pressing on that home button. So that's just one example of how Samsung has made this phone truly a zero compromise device, since you are able to get the best out of both a small phone and a large phone in one package. I've been very impressed and happy with the photo and video quality from the Samsung Galaxy A71. I'm actually very amazed for a phone in this price range that it's able to take such excellent looking pictures. Colors look fantastic, they're nice and crisp and good looking. And again, since it is 64 megapixels, you're really able to zoom in and crop into any of your photos to get a closer look at anything. I really like using the ultra wide camera as well. Kind of gives you a new perspective there. And the macro camera is pretty good too. I will say though, I feel like the macro camera is slightly gimmicky because you can see in this test here, I took a photo of my microphone with the macro camera and it's a good close-up picture, don't get me wrong. But when I took that same photo close up with the main 64 megapixel camera, of course the initial photo isn't extremely close up, but since it is 64 megapixels, I'm able to zoom in really closely, and I feel like overall, I'm able to take better close-up photos by using the main 64 megapixel camera and zooming in than I am able to do with the 5 megapixel macro camera. So I'm not saying that's a deal breaker at all. I think it just really shows how impressive the 64 megapixel main camera is, but at the same time, it kind of does negate the purpose of having the 5 megapixel macro camera. I almost feel like Samsung just included the macro camera just so that they could say that the phone does feature a quad camera setup. But again, it's not like having that macro camera takes away from the experience at all. So overall, I am happy that it has it. Now earlier, I talked about how I'm not really concerned about not having a telephoto camera with the Galaxy A71, since you can crop in a lot with the 64 megapixel main camera while still retaining excellent photo quality. So you can see in this example, here's a photo of this building with the standard 64 megapixel camera. Then I zoomed in significantly with the 64 megapixel camera, and you can see that this photo I took after zooming in still looks pretty decent, seriously. And then I took it even a step further and zoomed in even more, and you can see that thanks to the phone having such a high megapixel count, you almost don't even need a telephoto camera because the digital zoom does work so well. That's one of the things that Samsung has really been touting as well with their new super zoom feature with their Galaxy S20, basically saying that since the phone has such a high megapixel count, you can zoom in really far while also retaining a lot of the quality. So that principle does apply as well to the Galaxy A71. So I wouldn't be disappointed that the phone does not have a telephoto camera, and if anything, having that 64 megapixel main camera offers you even more than you'd get by having kind of a lower megapixel count with that camera and then having a separate telephoto camera, because you're able to pack everything into one excellent camera. The device was able to take really clean portrait mode photos, so I'm a big fan of that feature, and it especially came in handy when I wanted to take some live focus selfie pictures. So overall, considering the price of this phone, I would give the camera quality a 10 out of 10. I'm really happy with it. I think the quality is really good and definitely is better than flagship phones from a few years ago. Now, it's not quite as good as flagship phones in 2020, that's for sure. And these pictures certainly don't rival the quality that we'll be getting with the Galaxy S20. But considering the price of the device, these photos definitely look really good. But let's now take a look at some video samples from the Samsung Galaxy A71. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here coming at you with a test video from the Samsung Galaxy A71. And this is in 4K. Now, the video that I'm putting up here on YouTube is in 1080p, like the final review video, but the original footage is in 4K. Just letting you know about that ahead of time. So let me know what you think of the quality. It's kind of like a mixture of shade and sunlight where I am right now because there are some trees up above me. But yeah, let me know what you think of the quality of the video as well as the microphone quality as well. So I'm really excited about this phone. Definitely one of the best kind of mid-range budget phones to come out so far this year in 2020. So it's a pretty sweet device overall. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here coming at you with a 4K test video with the Samsung Galaxy A71. Definitely let me know what you think of the quality from this video. And then just a reminder, the review video that this will be included with is going up in 1080p, so I will be downsampling the 4K to 1080p, but let me know what you think of the quality from this video sample. I'll also zoom in right now. So since the main camera does have so many megapixels, you can really zoom in and it looks pretty decent. This is with 8x zoom, but you can see if I kind of do like a middle ground at about 4x zoom, which is right here, it doesn't necessarily look like it's a digital zoom, like it kind of does a little bit, but it almost looks more like a telephoto mode. But of course, I'll let you be the judge on that completely. And then this is at, right here, this is at 2x zoom. So most phones that feature a telephoto camera usually have it at 2x zoom. So despite this not having a telephoto camera, you can see that it does look pretty clear at 2x zoom thanks to how high of a megapixel count the main camera has. Now I'm back at the normal 1x zoom. Let's try out autofocus in video mode. And that's extremely quick, very quick there, which is great. And then now I'll do a video sample with the ultra wide angle camera. And I cannot switch to that, by the way, while I'm recording a video. You can only do one camera, and then you have to stop the video and then record a new video with the other camera. And here's the test video with the Samsung Galaxy A71 with the ultra wide angle camera. So let me know what you think of the quality from this camera in comparison to the main camera. Of course, you can fit a lot more content into the frame here. It's definitely a really cool effect using this camera for both photos and videos. The only limitation really that you have with this, besides it being less megapixels, is that it does not have any sort of close-up abilities. Well, it kind of does, but not quite at the level of the main camera. So for more close-up videos, you definitely want to use the main camera and not the ultra wide angle camera. But yeah, let me know what you think of the quality. So is the Samsung Galaxy A71 worth buying? I think it's definitely worth it. You're getting a lot of really impressive hardware here for the money, paired up with really good software as well. Samsung's One UI 2.0 is extremely refined, and it's packed full of a bunch of different cool and useful features, such as that one-handed mode that I showed you earlier. That's just one example of how Samsung is taking Android to the next level thanks to their customizations. I'm also really happy to see that the phone does feature the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730. And even though I do have the 6GB of RAM variant, you can even take the performance a step further if you do decide to get the 8GB variant of the phone. I will say though, by using this, I don't really see how I would need 8GB of RAM. It seems like 6GB of RAM paired with the Snapdragon 730 gives me plenty good performance. So you'll have to see what the pricing is for the 8GB of RAM version compared to the 6GB of RAM version, and then decide on your own if it's worth spending the extra money for 8GB. But without a doubt, I can certainly recommend the Samsung Galaxy A71 to anybody looking for an excellent phone at around the $400 price range. This phone really does have it all. It looks really nice, we're getting a massive display, we're getting good performance, we're getting excellent cameras, we're getting cool features such as an in-screen fingerprint sensor, and we're getting a ton of storage, both internally and if you do add a microSD card. Again, don't forget, this phone features 128GB of internal storage, and Apple's flagship, the iPhone 11, still features 64 gigs with the base model version, and they're selling that for $699. So for significantly cheaper, you can get twice the amount of internal storage, as well as a number of other cool features that you can't even get with the iPhone 11 with the Galaxy A71 at a fraction of the price. But again, take a look at the links in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for the phone. But I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out my other Samsung Galaxy A71 videos. But this is Kevin here. This is the Samsung Galaxy A71 review, and I will see you in the next video.